Hello, everyone. Okay, you all can unmute at any time, and we are recording. How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, doing great. So, as we get started, remember I love interaction and it helps me to do this. This is going to be a fairly short one just because it's kind of wrapping everything up, and there is a question and answer at the end. So, if you do have questions, feel free to ask along the way or at the end, either way. So today we're going to talk about Expand and Elevate, the final chapter, new to Medicare sales training. Today we're going to talk about diversifying your products, relationship building, and then there's that question and answer. Diversifying your product offerings. I love talking about diversifying what you offer because I've always been a firm believer, and I think it's because I come from an entrepreneur. I was raised in somebody who owned their own business, and I know the importance of having multiple strings of income because during this time of year, this may be what works, but this time of year we might need this. For instance, my dad sold dirt, believe it or not, and owned a rock quarry, and so during the rainy time, you cannot sell dirt because it's mud and it weighs more. You can't accurately sell the product because you can't charge them for the wet soil. So then he sold rock, which was easier to do during that time of year. And of course, throughout it all, having these multiple things at any point in year, you have something that you can work with. So it is ingrained in me that you need multiple streams of income. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. Insurance agents specializing in selling Medicare plans can benefit from diversifying their product offerings. This strategy expands your business and creates year-round revenue opportunities. So whenever you really look at agents who have been doing this a long time, you have people who will only work annual enrollment period because they've built their books so much and they need to service their clients that they're really only willing to take on new clients during that annual enrollment period. And then you have others who just don't take leads anymore, all because they diversified, they have a full book, and they have multiple strings of income, which gives them the availability to be more flexible with their schedule instead of being in the grind. That's what I like to call it. So here's a breakdown of how you can achieve that. Complementary insurance products. These services complement Medicare and can enhance value for your current and future clients. Hospital indemnity. This is a very good one. If you just want to dip your toe into the water and really start seeing how can I layer different offerings to create this multiple income stream, hospital indemnity is a great one. If you don't know much about hospital indemnity, they address the gaps in Medicare Advantage plans, such as co-payments for hospital stays. That's where, when we are looking at a Medicare Advantage plan, we look at that max out of pocket. There are two things that can get somebody to the max out of pocket. That's going to be chemotherapy, because they have to pay 20% until they reach their max out of pocket, or multiple hospital stays, because that's a bigger copay and it's multiple days and then goes to zero after day 5 or 7. But then what if they are very sick and they end up in the hospital again? This really helps their budget. This helps them, especially those who, how do I say this, that are not dual eligible, but also that maybe are more paycheck to paycheck. And that is a big hit if they have to have an outpatient surgery, if they have to have a hospital stay, because these hospital indemnity plans have different benefits inside of them. It's not just for the hospital stay. Some of them are, and that may be a way to contain some costs. But they do also offer outpatient and surgeries and stuff like that. And it's easy to cross-sell during the MA enrollment, because when you're going through the plans and you're addressing, PCP copay, specialist copay, and then you get to that hospitalization where it's $300-400 a day, days 1 through 7, that's when the eyes get big, especially those that are in that gray area where they really need help. The other point of hospital indemnities, it does not pay the hospital, it pays them. So whether or not they need it, even if they've hit their max out of pocket and they have a hospital stay, they are still going to receive that benefit. And that can help with, some of the extra things you need when you're sick. Dental, vision, and hearing plans, while Medicare may not provide comprehensive coverage for these services, there is significant interest among clients. I don't know why that went to among instead of amongst, highlighting the importance of and value. These can be bundled or sold separately. NED is a company that I use. They offer MetLife Dental and VSP Vision. It even gives me a link where I can send it to somebody in an email and they can look at all the plan offerings and select what they want and enroll themselves if they so choose. Of course, I'm here to help if they need it. But dental, vision, and hearing, where we really see the most sales of that is whenever we start talking about Medicare supplements. I do think this is something that needs to be brought up during the Medicare Advantage sell as well, because while Medicare Advantage plans are trying to work on their utilization and get different benefits in, I am seeing significant cuts across all markets in the dental offerings. And we all know that implants are generally not covered under the dental benefits through a Medicare Advantage plan. And there are dental plans that are sold separately that do have implant coverage. There may be a waiting period or a high premium for that, but they are out there and they are available. Life and health insurance products. Offering these additional products broadens your income streams beyond Medicare. I love every time I end a call, I always ask them when was the last time they looked at their life insurance, whether it's a final expense or, I'm going to say this wrong with my Oklahoma accent, burial insurance. This allows you to engage in impactful conversations with seniors that is not only affordable, but also deeply enriching on an emotional level. Because when somebody is worrying about their final years on earth, that is something that people worry about. They worry about, how are my children or loved ones going to pay the medical bills that I leave behind, or how are they going to pay to have a proper burial? All these things are in the front of their mind. I can tell you that without question that they have those. And so I always love to bring that up. I do not sell these products during a Medicare Advantage enrollment, but if they say, oh, it's been a long time, I don't even know what I have, I try to schedule a follow-up appointment so that we can talk about life insurance. On the other side of the spectrum, we have whole or term life insurance. Whole life lasts as your whole life as long as you make the premium payments, where term is for just a set period of time, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, what the case may be, it ends. If you can renew it in most cases at a much higher premium. Empower clients to build a lasting legacy or effectively manage their debts. This not only benefits them, but also opens avenues for referrals from their younger family members, ensuring a broader impact for your services. One thing I do want to touch on too is that these final expense versus true life insurance is your final expense policies are going to be at a much lower dollar value than if they have a bigger need. I would definitely look at whole or term life. The most popular in the plan that's going to sell the most is going to be the final expense or term life, because whole life is just very expensive. It's also a tool that builds cash value. So there's a lot to whole life, and it is a lot more expensive unless you see them on TV all the time, like SelectQuote or whoever they are, and they say, get a whole life policy for a small dollar amount. And usually it's like $8 a month. Colonial Penn, that's who I'm thinking of, that is advertised on TV. Those are whole life policies, but they're built more like a final expense policy. Life and health insurance products, long-term care or short-term care insurance. I don't really see a need in this in the Medicare space because long-term care and short-term care are basically income replacements during your working years. The demand, the demand for the service is skyrocketing in response to rapidly aging population. It not only represents significant commission opportunities, but also delivers invaluable advice for that can truly make a difference. Now, there is long-term care insurance that in short-term care insurance, I think I was thinking of something else that is for staying in like a nursing home and stuff like that. Those are really better to sell if you're in your 40s or selling it to somebody who's in their 40s or 50s. I used to sell a lot of this when I was in financial services. I was thinking of disability. I don't know why I didn't read care correctly, but this is skyrocketing, and this is something that would be a great conversation for people who are in their mid years and not Medicare aged. It's going to be difficult unless you have a good financial services contract that you can write an annuity that can do the same thing. Critical illness or cancer policies. I am diehard for both critical illness and cancer policies. They can be offered with minimal underwriting. That means it's simplified issue with health questions. In general, not saying this is with every carrier, but just in general terms, usually it's a 5-year look back. Some can be different, some can be shorter, some can be longer, but they're going to ask if you've had cancer or a heart attack, stroke within the past 5 years. That is going to be the major question that they're going to ask. And as long as you can say no or being treated for those in 5 years, as long as the beneficiary can say no, it should be no issue to get a heart, stroke policy or cancer policy. And Lisa, critical illness is also known in our industry as heart attack, stroke plans. It enhances Medicare coverage by addressing high cost diagnoses effectively. 1 in 8 people, or it may be down to 1 in 4 people, are diagnosed with cancer every year. And once you have cancer, they say if you're 5 years after treatment, you can get it again. But treatments do include if you're having to take preventative medications like a low dose chemo or things like that. I can talk about cancer policies all day and night. But that is still receiving treatment. And if you see your oncologist outside of yearly checkups. So those get a little bit harder to write once somebody has been diagnosed with a significant cancer diagnosis. And critical illness, of course, is going to cover and add cash to their pockets to help pay the copays if they have a heart attack or stroke and some other bizarre illnesses we rarely see are in there listed too, like Ebola, are written in some of these for critical illness. Annuities. I touched on this a second ago. Annuities help safeguard retirement income. It is an excellent opportunity for upselling during annual policy reviews. You cannot talk about financial services when you're selling a Medicare Advantage plan or in a scoped appointment with Medicare Advantage Part C on it or Part D. Annuities are good. I don't know if you all do financial services. Some annuities only require a life license to do, but it is a way that they can roll over some of their retirement, and it can be put into there are some plans that are designed out there to help either be a death benefit or fund long-term care if they need to be put in a facility rather than writing a long-term care plan, because as I mentioned, it has very difficult underwriting for long-term care. IRAs and 401k rollovers. Many clients approaching retirement require expert guidance to navigate their financial futures. If you are not securities licensed, it is wise to partner with a trusted financial advisor who can provide the support and insights you need. Taking this step can significantly enhance your client's retirement planning experience, and you gain a referral relationship. So a ton of these financial advisors love to dip their toe into the water with Medicare sales, because they do have clients that turn 65, and that's another avenue for them to have some income. Most of them do not want to do it. If you can find a financial advisor that you can get along with, it is an incredible lead source that you can use. You're taking it off their plate. That's the value proposition. When they build that trust with you and you build that trust with them, you know that when they send you somebody, and they know that you are going to take care of them and you're going to give them the best help out there possible. It is a great referral source. And once you get in with somebody, it can be life-changing. And then again, if you have somebody who needs their experience, especially because they're retiring, they're going to be taking money out of their 401k, is there a way that they can grow it? That's when you can also send them a client as well. Works both ways, two-way street. Any questions on what we've talked about so far before we go into relationship building? Okay. During relationship building, we're going to learn how to understanding your market, establish local presence, and provide ongoing service. Understanding your market. Building relationships effectively requires a mix of trust building, regulatory compliance, and strategic outreach. Here's a step-by-step approach to help you form strong, lasting relationships that lead to a successful career. Know your audience. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen new agents fail at knowing their audience and talking about something that they had, that the audience just really didn't have interest in, or it was opposite of what they came to hear. Focus on Medicare eligible individuals, including those who are new to Medicare or switching plans. Understand regional needs and preferences. Healthcare concerns vary by area. So, as an example, I was at America's Physician Group with Carrie Linderman, our CEO, and we were doing a presentation for this physician group. They're all over across the nation. And somebody gave a presentation, and they didn't know that APG is very focused on high risk, which means Medicare Advantage versus Medicare Supplement. They even have lobbyists. I mean, it's a whole thing. So it's really good to know what the needs are in the region that you're at, and to know your audience so that you can do your presentation and scale it one way or the other. That's what I'm here for in the provider channel. Is I can tell you, because I'm talking every day with our healthcare systems, not every day right now, weekly probably, but I talk to them on an ongoing basis. And I know which areas where the healthcare team's objective is to have people on original Medicare with a Medicare supplement and a Part D prescription drug. And on the other side, I know who wants to take full risk and wants to see those MAPD enrollments. The majority are Medicare supplements, but there are pockets where we will see where they want the high risk contracts. Plan knowledge. Master specific features, costs, and benefits of your plan offerings. I love to talk about premium. Once I realize that they're a network and their prescriptions are covered, I go into premium, I go into max out of pocket, copays to see their PCP, copays to see their specialist, hospitalization, and then I go into the fun stuff. Then I go back up in the summary of benefits and ask them if they have specific questions. I don't want to lose them in the details, so I hit the high parts that I know everybody wants to know. And then we can dive in deeper, specific to what they want. And I'm able to answer that. Super easy to do on Sunfire because you can have the summary of benefits right in front of you. And again, we're going to talk about establishing local presence. This is very, very important that your community knows that you are a trusted resource for Medicare, because maybe they don't go to one of our health systems that are in your area or that you work. The more people that know that this is what you do, the better off you are going to be with building your business. And it's going to grow, and it's going to have referrals. And grassroots marketing, which is the definition of that is establishing a local presence, is the best way you can do it. So establishing a local presence is vital for selling Medicare plans because trust, visibility, relevance to the community are essential factors that influence client decisions in your market. Trust is essential in health insurance. Medicare beneficiaries, especially seniors, are often skeptical of unfamiliar agents or call centers. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's my whole message is do not watch the television. Please do not pay attention to those commercials, and do not answer your phone. Because how many times have we had somebody moved off of the plan we enrolled them in simply because they answered the phone? They show up to the doctor and they no longer have the insurance that they thought they had, and they're potentially out of network. So it's very scary for people on Medicare because A, most of them are on tight budgets, and B, they still want to see who they trust through their healthcare team. Being part of the community builds credibility and confidence, making people more likely to engage with you. Seniors prefer in-person and local support. Everything is becoming such a virtual world between social media, FaceTiming grandkids, and, Skype calls or Zoom calls, what have you. Our world, due to COVID, has become so virtual, and it is very isolating to seniors specifically. You can see a decline in their health because they're not having as much interaction. So many Medicare eligible individuals prefer face-to-face interactions for complex decisions. A local agent provides personal guidance, which national call centers cannot match. They just can't. I put the word often in there, but they cannot match it. Because whenever I go to Walmart, I do see some of my clients whenever I'm in the grocery aisle. Whenever I'm out at the Boomerang Diner, I do see some of my clients eating dinner. And you're able to say hi, little banter back and forth, a little conversation, and it keeps building that trust and that rapport. Word of mouth and referrals happen locally. When you're visible in the community, senior centers, pharmacies, churches, people remember and recommend you. Local presence allows for organic growth through positive experiences and referrals. The most cost-effective way, the most trustworthy way is organic growth, because people get confused and they talk. Friends talk to friends, and they may be on the telephone, and Sally is going to need help, and Sue knows exactly you are the person that should help Sally. So that is the best way to grow a referral channel. Local events and partnerships create opportunities. Health fairs, seminars, and partnerships with clinics or senior organizations help you reach new prospects directly. These settings create opportunities to educate and engage in a compliant, value-driven way. When we're in these health fairs or we are in these senior centers where they're serving lunch, we cannot sell insurance during that time. This is purely educational, so everybody's guards are down. And if they have questions, that's the perfect time to hand them your card and say, I would love to help you with that. Unfortunately, this isn't the setting that I can do that. Please give me a call and I will help you. That's how you do that. And steps: establishing a local presence. Community engagement, again, local events, partnerships, grassroots marketing, and word of mouth. Activities are build a calendar of community events, local businesses and providers, promote yourself through local media, become visible in your community, and people will remember and refer you. And that takes us to our questions and answers, question and answer section. Do we have any questions about everything we talked about? I'm happy to do a deep dive.
I don't have any questions. I actually think you did a very good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Lisa, thing, I know that, you're just starting out and it takes a minute. And the more you get out in your community, the more that, I don't know if you have farmers markets in Nebraska. That's one of the ways that I really got a start back when I was digging in the trenches in my early years. Is I would set up, it's a big thing in Oklahoma, and I would set up a table and I would just say, this is who I am. We also are a very small community, so we have a lot of events, local community events, like Sulphur Days is an event that we have, and people set up their Scentsy tables, their Pampered Chef tables, Mary Kay, what have you. And then there I am to discuss insurance. And I love that because it's another way that I'm visible in my community, and it reminds people what I do, that I actually can help you with your insurance in retirement. And that's the biggest piece of advice I have, alongside with, I went to my own doctor, Dr. Ali, who's with SSM in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. I went to him and I told him what I did. And this is back when I was with the carrier and now they send me referrals from their office, their nurses, the front, the lady that sits at the front when you check in and check out. And people all the time say, hey, I was at Dr. Ali's and they told me I need to call you. I need help. And every time you engage in those activities, all you're doing is building your reputation. You're becoming front of mind, and never be hesitant to go to who you use. You're paying them to get your physician services. You're paying them to get your glasses, and they should use you as a resource as well. Because I'm sure if you're happy with your eye doctor, you're going to tell Susan to go to Dr. Jones. It's just the way this world works, and that's the best way I can tell you to start generating business, is to just get in there and get your name out there, and specifically what it is that you do. And one fun thing I love to do is when there is like a holiday coming up, like Easter recently, I have a candy jar that I take. It's in the back. They can't sit out front, whatever, probably due to COVID. But it's still fun for the staff. And I go in there and bring them different candies depending on what time of year it is. During Christmas, I will put in like Christmas candies. Easter, the fun, pastel-y, colorful candies. And I refill their jar and bring them more business cards. So that's just the way I do it. And it has worked. And I see no reason to figure out how to recreate the wheel, because my wheel is working. Do you have any questions?
That all sounds great, actually.
Thank you, Kai. Oh, yeah.
When you set up a table at a farmer's market, there's one right up the road every weekend. What do you use for your setup? Do you have a banner? Do you have
No, we don't. I don't have a banner. You can get some from some carriers. I prefer not to, because then they think I'm with United Healthcare, Humana, whoever, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I have a black tablecloth, and then I made a foam board with my business card at, like, Crystal's probably going to kill me hearing this, but I have like a little foam board with my business card on it. There's a million and two things. We also have a resource under, on our website at MedicareCompareUSA through the broker portal part of it, that there are things that you can look at, but there are many ways to make your table attractive. And I have pins that have my phone number on them. They're cheap. I don't have Medicare Compare on them, but it just says my name and my phone number. So there's many things, Lisa, that we can do that are cost effective, that you can still be at the farmer's market and enjoy it. I prefer pins because I always have consent to contacts with me, and I don't want there to be a reason for them not to fill it out and hand it to me. So I love to give away pins. It's my go-to giveaway. Clicky pins, though. I prefer clicky pins.
So I did an event last year and I actually got one of those like little spinny, like almost like Jeopardy style boards from Amazon. And I set that up at the event. And then I had just different prizes on there. And if somebody wanted to come up and win a prize, and they could ask for my information, see what I'm doing. But just a little way to draw people into your table. Everybody loves, spinning the little wheel and trying to win some sort of prize.
I love that. And something else I do too is because grandparents on the weekends, that's when they get the grandkids, right? So mom and dad can have a break. I even get balloons and have them set up. But I'm one of those crafty people, so I actually do have a helium machine, not like a giant one, but I do have one. So that's something else I do. I go Dollar Tree, get a package of cool balloons, and tie ribbon on them and have them up because it draws attention as well, just like he was saying. And then you can give the grandkids a balloon.
Those are good ideas.
We're full of them. Kyle and I have been doing this a long time.
I have not.
I know.
Yeah. My learning curve is I'm still climbing. I can tell you that. It's good. It's all good.
I think the hardest part when you're getting into this, when you're starting to sell insurance, the hardest part is where do you find somebody to sell insurance to? I remember in the beginning, I started at Aflac 20 years ago. And I remember thinking that, what do I do to get people? Now I could go door to door to businesses. So that's far different than Medicare. But that's probably the biggest stepping stone, which is why I'm glad you're in the provider program, because we're able to get you leads, but you have downtimes of year that you've got to be able to go out there and generate your own business so that you can stay afloat. I bought a house whenever, and it was for me and my children. And I remember one night just laying there. I had money in the bank, but I was thinking, what if I run out? Just this whole anxiety thing. And that's whenever I started figuring out about community events and little tricks like balloons or, like he said, little Jeopardy board with special prizes. Anything I could do that was affordable, that's what I did, just to get attention, get people to me. Because if I could get one person, then I might be able to get two people from them, and then you're building your business and residuals. That's my best advice. Any other questions or comments?
No, that's great. Darren,
Okay.
that's great.
All right. And Lisa, if you ever need help, you can call me anytime, you know that.
I hadn't thought of term life as burial or final expense, but that's a good parallel, or however you would say that. That's what that is.
It's really good because when you have that second stream of income, when you're waiting on commissions, they usually pay pretty quick, number one. And number two, everybody needs it. It's a need. Most people don't have that situated yet, or they may have a life insurance policy that they had through an employer and maybe it wasn't portable. So now they need a new life insurance policy. You can identify those. I've won so many awards because at the end of every call, that is my question. When was last time you updated your life insurance, or do you even have any? It's a great conversation. Schedule it for another appointment, and then you can make a sell. Kyle, do you have anything to add?
I think you made a lot of really great points. certainly, to Lisa there, it's discouraging getting started, trying to build your book and everything. And learning Medicare is like, trying to drink from a fire hose. There's a lot to take in at all, like one time. But, certainly all of these educational webinars, whether they're offered through Medicare Compare or any of the carriers that you're contracted with, they're all super valuable, and they can help provide, some of those additional opportunities you might be looking for to sit in somewhere, or just, getting leads through carriers, things like that. So just putting yourself out there is the number one thing. I know it's hard. I'm not, certainly the most outgoing person, in my personal life, but, you'll get out of your shell, and I think you're going to find, what works best for you. And I think everybody's different there. I like 101 seminars. I love being able to educate people, and then knowing, our follow-up appointment, they're going to have, at least a pretty good understanding of the A's and the B's of Medicare. So find your thing, and I think you're going to be very, very successful.
I love that, Kyle. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I'll stay on if you want to ask any questions alone. But other than that, this is a wrap, and I appreciate everybody attending. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.